So let's just dive right in. Is morality real? Is the difference between right and wrong an actual feature of the universe, or is it all just an opinion? It's one of the biggest questions we could possibly ask, and today we're going to explore a really powerful case for the answer being a resounding yes.
Right. So this is the heart of the conflict, isn't it? When you say that's wrong, are you stating a fact about the world? Kind of like saying that's a rock? Or are you just sharing a feeling like, I don't like that? I mean, this one question, it changes literally everything about how we see ourselves and our actions.
Okay, so this really boils down to two big ideas. On one side, you've got the idea that morality is a feature of reality itself, as real as gravity. But on the other side, and this is a really common view today, is that morality is just a human invention. Maybe it's a handy evolutionary trick that helps us cooperate, or just a set of cultural rules we've all agreed to. But is that really the full story?
To figure out if morality is real, we actually have to take what might seem like a weird detour. We've got to ask a totally different question first. Why do we believe the physical world is real? I promise the answer is way more revealing than you might think.
No, seriously, think about it. How do you know? You can't actually prove with 100% certainty that you're not in a dream right now or hooked up to some super advanced simulation. All we really have are our senses, and hey, our senses could be lying to us. And yet, none of us seriously doubt that the world around us is real. So why not?
Well, it seems to come down to two really powerful features of our experience. First, it's shared. If I see a chair in a room, you can walk in and see the exact same chair. Our independent experiences, they line up. And second, it's involuntary. Reality imposes itself on us. I can't just decide to walk through a solid wall. If I try, the wall is going to stop me, whether I like it or not. And this, right here, is the core idea behind what philosophers call realism. It isn't some kind of blind faith. It's just the best, most logical explanation for why our experiences are both shared and involuntary. The simplest answer is that the world is real, because that's what makes the most sense of all the evidence we have. Okay, so remember that detour we took? Well, this is where it all pays off. Because, and this is the key insight, if you look closely, our experience of morality has these exact same two features. It feels both shared and involuntary. For one, our moral judgments are surprisingly shared. I mean, you can look across every culture throughout all of history, and you find the same basic moral software running. People value loyalty and courage. They condemn betrayal and senseless violence. And second, our moral sense feels totally involuntary. When we see a deep injustice, we feel outrage. When we do something we know is wrong, we feel guilt. These feelings aren't choices we make. They feel like they're being imposed on us. Yeah, people love to point out that cultures disagree on specifics, right? Like, what should the legal drinking age be? But those disagreements almost always happen within a larger shared moral framework. We might argue about whether the age should be 18 or 21, but literally no one argues it should be 3. The debate itself proves we share a deeper moral assumption, that some ages are just too young. And this is a fascinating little quirk of human nature. Even people who claim morality isn't real just can't seem to escape it in their own lives. Think about it. A thief might say it's not wrong to steal from you, but you can bet he's going to feel a powerful sense of outrage and injustice if his partner in crime steals his share of the loot. He's appealing to a sense of fairness that he claims he doesn't even believe in. Okay, so at this point, I know what you might be thinking. Hang on a second. Isn't all this just our evolutionary programming? We evolved to feel guilt and outrage because cooperation helped our ancestors survive. And that is a fantastic question. It's probably the most common objection to this whole idea. So let's really tackle that. Could it be that our shared sense of right and wrong and that inescapable conscience are just biological instincts, just tricks of survival with no connection to any deeper truth? It definitely sounds plausible on the surface. But this explanation runs into a really, really serious problem. Here's the catch, and it's a big one. If you argue that our moral sense is untrustworthy because it's just a product of evolution aiming for survival, not truth, well then you have to apply that exact same logic to all of our tools for thinking. Our eyes, our ears, our ability to reason, they also evolved for survival. So if our reason isn't aimed at truth, why should we trust the science of evolution itself? The argument that uses evolution to debunk morality ends up sawing off the very branch it's sitting on. So this leaves us with a pretty stark choice. We can either dive into a radical skepticism about, well, everything we see and think, or we can step back and look for the best explanation for our experience as a whole. So let's circle back to where we started. We believe the physical world is real because it's simply the best explanation for our shared involuntary sensory experiences. It just makes the most sense. And the whole argument here is that the exact same logic holds for morality. The best, most rational explanation for our shared, involuntary moral experiences, our universal judgments, and our inescapable conscience is that morality is also, in some fundamental way, real. And that's moral realism in a nutshell. It's the view that a statement like, inflicting cruelty for fun is wrong, isn't just an opinion. It's a claim about the nature of reality, and it's just as factual as saying mountains exist.
Now, it's super important to be clear about what this does not mean. It doesn't mean every moral question is easy, or that we all agree on everything. Think about science. Scientists disagree all the time. We can be wrong, we can argue, and our understanding can get way better over time. But the fact that we have disagreements doesn't mean there's no real truth out there to discover. And if you just take a step back and look, you'll see we all kind of live this way anyway. When we argue for justice, when we condemn an atrocity on the news, when we praise someone for a selfless act, we are speaking and acting as if right and wrong are real, objective things. Our actions kind of give the game away.
So that leaves us with one last thought to chew on. The pull of morality seems to be just as constant and inescapable as the pull of gravity. Every single day, we all live and act as if it's a real force in the universe. So, what if the simplest and best explanation is that it is?